Cool. Okay. If I do drop off, it's not because I'm not interested. It's because my daughter's graduation. I have to prepare for that. She's graduating fifth grade.
You were able to join today at this time. And I guess we won't just see you at the governance meeting, or
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be there either.
okay. Well, there will be a recording. So,
Okay, cool. Great.
so this is rho-bot, who runs Rolang and stuff for us here. And where are you?
This is the rho-bot GitHub repo cloned on my computer, and I'm opening it in Atom.
Okay, that's a little bit of a problem because we can't really test it there well.
No, I know that, but if you want to switch to you know, the node rho-bot.net, or if you want me to do that on my computer, I have it open here.
Okay.
I'm just not very good at editing on Linux.
Yes, you know, that's a challenge.
Why don't you run the rho-bot side, and I'll watch in my side where I intend to do development.
Well, that's a little bit, could be a little bit of a problem without being able to, you know, run your changes. It's really hard to do much.
Well,
I think it would be better to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
And CD the rho-bot. You might want to make that window a little bigger.
Can you see all my screen?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Could be a little bigger, but that's okay. So you're in rho-bot. Okay, so just VI SER tab. VI space.
I didn't hear the first letters.
SER, you know, it's server.js. I just said SER tab because, you know, you can fill in.
Okay.
Okay, so here's, you know, pretty much the same thing we saw there. But from the Unix terminal, you don't have the functions that you normally have in terms of using the mouse. The mouse is usually useless in VI when you're on a Linux system. I have seen it work. Click your mouse down in the middle of the page somewhere, see if your cursor moves.
No, the cursor's still back up here. Can you see my cursor?
I don't see your cursor actually.
Oh, okay.
I see a cursor. I see on var up here. I can see your highlight.
Okay, but the cursor, the pointer is still up here at var EEX, VAREEX.
Okay, we can't see where that is, but yeah. So the mouse doesn't do anything. So, so you have to navigate with arrow keys and other things. You're in command mode, and there's a million commands in VI, and you'll eventually learn ones that you need to know. But do you want to go over this code? Should we review this code a little bit before we go into fix anything? Why don't you explain the code to us, Gary?
Okay, this is the program that rho-bot runs to connect with the Discord server and to search the stream of data from the Discord server and put it in a file called rnode.log in this directory right here. Is that correct so far in any sense or fashion?
Not really.
Okay.
It might have been. Maybe I didn't understand correctly, but the rnode log is the output from our chain, from the rnode that's running on the machine, rho-bot.net. So what we're doing there is we're looking at the output in the rnode log in order for us to be able to show the output when somebody types an eval to command in Discord that evaluates some Rolang. We need to, we're going to need to sort of read the lines that come out on the log in order to find the output of the Rolang they execute. But if we start at the top there, we have discord.js, and we're getting an object Discord, which allows us to interface with Discord. Okay, and we create a client as a new Discord, which is what we're actually going to operate on, is this client. Okay, and then we're going to talk to the R node at some point, and that's the gRPC interface to the R node. So we require the gRPC library to do that and get this object gRPC that we can use. And then we're going to get some utilities we call sys, system utilities. And then we're going to get define exec, and we're going to get from a child project process exec, which allows us to run Linux commands from JavaScript, which is the way that we're currently interfacing with our node, because the gRPC is not working right yet. The RChain API needs to be fixed. We're going to interact with the Linux file system. We're going to create some files. We're going to read files. So we require a library, FS file system, to do that. And then there's a utility, match recursive, which allows us to find things like the matching brace or the matching parentheses in a string. And we may not be using that right now, but it's a utility that we have used in rho-bot in the past, and it's a good utility to have around to use. And since it's already available, we're including. We could comment it out if it's not being used, but we could do that. We could comment that out.
Okay, tell me how to do that.
So you go to the var at the beginning of the line, and you type I for insert, and you do //
//
Yeah. Okay, now you escape. That gets you out of insert mode.
Okay.
Okay, so we might want it again, so we'll leave the code there so we remember how to do it.
And let me ask you a question. These requires are calling modules out of the Node.js repository, is that right?
Yeah, well, there's there's node modules that are installed globally on the machine. Most of these are probably installed locally in a nodes module subdirectory. They're just used by this process, like the gRPC, I'm sure, is not installed globally on the machine, although it could be.
Okay.
Whereas the util is global, so it'll find that globally, and you don't need to have it in your node module directory locally, because it's system wide. Same thing with the child process and the file system. Discord, is sort of special, so that's something that we would have installed within. We use the node module manager npm install Discord.js, and then that would put it in our node modules directory, and then we would require it here so that we could interact with Discord. Right?
Yes.
Okay, and we have one more require dot environment, and this is so that we can keep our secrets in sort of a hidden file, dot environment file. Dot files in Linux are hidden. You don't normally see them unless when you list files, although you can. And they're not accessible from the JavaScript generally. Okay, you do have to be a little bit careful, because we are reading some files here, and we sort of have to make sure that it wouldn't enable somebody by putting in bad data to read our dot environment file, which is where we keep our secrets. Like we have a token that gives us permissions to for the rho-bot user ID on Discord, and we don't want anybody else to be able to get those. Okay, so then from the RChain API, we're going to get our node, which is which is sort of the main thing, row core, and the log. Not sure what those three objects are, but we can get those three objects out of the RChain API. And then it says let my node, which just introduces the name my node in the current context, which is sort of a global context, but it's only available, it's not available to inside routines we call outside of this context. You know what I mean? Now we have a tail object, which we require a tail library dot tail. Okay, and then we get a lowercase tail, which is the new tail of this file. And now when we read, now we can read from this. We can read from this tail file and get the lines from our node.log. And each time we read, well, every time we get a line, actually, we get an event. And that's the first thing we do down below. First, we set the debug level to 0. Change that to 3. Okay, the default should be 3. So how you can do that, and I'm trying to teach you the minimum number of things to be effective. If you do a CW, if you put your cursor at the 0 there and do a C for change and a W for a word, CW, and then type 3 and then hit escape. All right. Yeah, that sets the default to be the highest debugging level, which is better, because if somebody doesn't get if they don't see the information and they make a mistake, it might be a problem. Okay, so it just makes rho-bot noisier, right? I mean, if you're trying to do a demo of a finished application, you probably want to set the debug level down to 0. Okay, so the current message, name is introduced. Okay, and that's if there's a current command that somebody's doing, we set it to that, and that's how we know when we know when we want to display the rnode log output to the channel. And I should probably breeze through this. Did we lose Adi? Is he still around?
I'm still here.
You see him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hello.
Okay. Gary. I know. But so we have the so the tail on services events. So we're looking for new lines to be added to the rnode log. So every time we get a line, so tail on line means we have a line event. Okay, and then we're going to look at what that line has and determine whether we want it or care about it. Most of the log items we don't care about. And we use the match command to match regular expressions to find the lines we care about. And then we reformat them to make them more presentable. And we can just go down further. I'll just basically decide what this does a little bit. Stop there. Stop. Yeah, well, okay, and here we look for an event keyword in a list, and this is how we handle event processing. We see an event in the log, and then we can take action. It's a way of causing action, causing a row-like program to cause an action outside of our chain. And I won't go into detail there. We can see that we have an event at, which schedules an event for the future. And then we have an event trigger, which causes an event to be triggered. Okay, and then we can go down further. Yeah, and this calls the exec to do execute a shell function to do that. Okay, and then I have tail unwatched copied out. I wonder why I have that copied out there. That may be a bug. If I do a tail unwatched that says, I don't care what's happening in the log, nobody cares. Oh, I know why I commented that out. That's if somebody runs something on the node, but they run it not through rho-bot, they run it by running the rnode command by itself. And it does a define or event, whatever, I want to be able to process it. So so I want to watch the tail all the time, not just when somebody's running a command.
Inside, yes. It's kind of
okay, and then this is a utility function, row format, which because the macros are sort of put on one line and they're hard to read. This function basically
Oh, okay.
goes through
All right.
and
All right.
it
No, 'cause
uh,
I need that a little.
does puts in the new lines on the indents where they belong, so the row line looks pretty. Okay.
So maybe,
Um,
so if we can. We'll see
Okay,
what
next.
happens and,
we have a client on at the bottom.
see if that we schedule.
The
Okay.
client again is the Discord
thank you.
client.
All right.
This is rho-bot, really. You probably should call client rho-bot.
Okay, this, what this indicates is we've gotten a message.
Ready, client on ready, the ready event means that we have a connection to Discord.
Okay,
Okay, and it simply writes in the log. And it creates the node object. It makes my node so that we can talk to gRPC client on our node, which is currently not working. The RT design needs to be fixed. So we're really not using it, but one of these sessions we want to fix it, so I'm not going to comment it out yet.
okay, understood. That's very interesting.
So then we have a client on message. Now this is, rho-bot got a message on Discord. Okay, and this is a message in any channel that rho-bot belongs to, or any server, or direct message to rho-bot. Message came in. And then we say if the message was pinged, we do a console log of the message and we reply POM. And the reason I do that is sometimes I want to see what the whole structure of the message is. Rather than looking up the documentation, I can just type ping and I can look in the log and I can see the whole structure of the message. So I can find how to address any particular field in the message. Okay, then I have, that's sort of a separate thing. Then I have a client on message here. And this is really the main rho-bot thing. Really, all the other messages are handled in this one section. I probably could have done a client on message for every different function. And that may have been cleaner, but that's not what I did. Any other message, every message it gets, it executes this code. Actually, for every message you get, it executes the code looking for ping and responding POM. And it executes the code in this long section below here. Okay, and I think the important thing that we wanted to fix today is the log of the message. So whenever a rho-bot gets a message, here we put in the log the message author username, the current date and time as an ISO date string, followed by the message content. So we have every message every message rho-bot receives in every channel is logged to the log. But what we don't know is what channel it is. Okay, so before now I was suggesting that that you want the log to be well formatted so you can grab data out of it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's good to have something at the beginning of the line that tells you what it is. So where we have the console log there, insert before the message author username.
I'm sorry, just repeat that.
Hit I to insert before the message author username
Okay.
and type quote message quote quote message colon space.
Say again, quote.
The word message colon space quote
Quote.
plus okay, so that tells us it's a message. Now the other thing we want to put in there is the channel. So we put in the channel name. So we're going to put in msg.channel.name.
Another one.
msg.channel.name. Plus quote colon space quote.
Okay, I've lost my quote.
Quote colon space quote plus. Okay, so what this is going to look like is we're going to have the string message colon. So that we know right away when we see a log entry that starts with the message colon that it's a message, right? That we received a message. And every message that comes in is going to create a log entry that says message colon, followed by the message channel name. Now, I didn't remember what the structure was, but I looked down in the code and I saw someplace else we use message channel name.
Okay, good. I would have had to look that up too.
Yeah. And like I said, I can always type ping and look at the log and I'll see the whole structure of a message. If I need to, find out how I can address something that's in the message structure. Which is probably how I found this in the first place.
Oh,
I found
I'd like
channel, and the channel has within it a name. Okay, so and then we're going to have the message author username. Okay, we do who wrote it, and we know the channel. Then we put in the date, so we know when they wrote it. And this will be important, if you want to do statistics for the month, for example, of how many items everyone, each person entered or something. We need to know the date that this was put in the log. Okay, and then we have the actual contents of the message. And that can be useful if we like lose the channel completely.
Yeah.
Okay, we can get from the log all the messages in the channel. We can't put them back in Discord, but we can put them into a document, and we can pin that document to the channel. Now this is this is the prior history.
yes, and we could, if we wanted to, we could write it to the blockchain.
Yep, and we could actually add the content back again, if I believe, but rho-bot would have to have admin privileges. And I think you could enter items as the original author. Maybe, I don't know. This log might not be sufficient for that. We'll have to see how this log looks. Okay, so that's basically all we wanted to do with this. So we can test it, right?
Okay. How do I save this?
So do a :W to write it.
Enter.
Yeah, you know, a WQ would quit and bring us back to the command line. But when I'm debugging JavaScript, I usually like to stay in the editor.
Gotcha.
Okay, and when I want to execute a command, I use a bang, :bang.
Colon.
And then we want to do a PM, oops. Well, we just did an empty command. Do a :bang, again, :bang, PM2, which is the process manager or node, PM2 space, restart, space, rho-bot, rho-bot, semicolon, PM2 log rho-bot. Now we don't actually have to type this every time because we can use the up arrow key to go back up and reuse the command.
Does that look right? PM2 log
No, PM2 space log
space. Oh, yeah. Log
space rho-bot.
space dash .bot.
Okay, and when you see we rerun this, it's really simple. You basically only have to type this once. Even the next time you log in, it'll remember.
Okay. So I hit enter now.
Yeah, enter. Okay. Now we see this logged in as host robot.net
Yes.
401. That tells us which R node we're running against, and the ID of the robot. The ID of the robot bot on Discord. Okay, so we know that we started up successfully. We're running. Okay, and the stuff above is from before.
The stuff above this point in the log.
Yeah, that's the log from before we restarted.
Okay.
Bottom line is the only thing that just printed out. The rest of it is from earlier. Okay, we can see that somebody's been playing with rho-bot, and they're working on a multi-authorization contract, and you can see they got output that it was confirmed by 2 of 3 members. So it's a multi-sig wallet or something. Oh, we can't see anything. We can't see before that, really. Oh, the red part is the error log, and the green part is the log. So that was the last error we got, or they got, and it's not recent, so we don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
If we're watching the log and we see something, as the log progresses, now to some extent, it would be good if you could keep this open in a window and then watch it, but we won't do that. Do Control C to get back to the editor. It is good to have two windows open. One to watch the log and the other to watch the code.
Yeah.
Enter. What did it do? Command terminated. What did you hit?
Control C.
Yeah. It should say hit return to enter or something. Enter. It doesn't work.
No. Let me try.
Control C again.
What? Repeat that.
Control C doesn't do anything now.
No. Maybe it has to do with me sharing the screen. Let me try tabbing around and see what I can get. So there's rho-bot. See, I can't even change windows now. Okay. Now, where did
I don't know. I don't know why that's stuck. Command terminated. You should be. It should say hit return to continue. But now when you hit Control C, it does nothing, right?
Right. Wait,
Hey, there you go.
I did it one more time. Maybe I wasn't in the right window when I was hitting Control C.
Did you hit enter? Because you have to hit enter also to get it to draw back. Okay, so well, actually, let's let's leave that running.
Okay.
Do a colon, bang up arrow.
Now that didn't do anything.
There you go. Okay, now go to your Discord window and type in and go to bot testing.
Okay.
And just do a print colon 1+1 or do anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you can look at it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now I don't know why you got 2 deployment costs. That's a little bit odd. We got 2 employment costs messages. Well, these are the messages we sent. Okay. Now we can't see the history here going back, but if you look at the top at the line here, oh, what happened? Okay, you see the line in the middle of the screen that says message, rho-bot testing. That's the channel. We have Gary C. Then we have
That's my username.
ISO format. And then we have the message, print 1+1. Okay, so the fix we made works. From now on, from the log, we can get out the messages. We can sort them by channel and by author and by date and time, et cetera, et cetera.
Is there another meeting starting?
Not until 6 p.m. I
Okay.
just got a notification or something. Let me see what the notification was about. Governance. Yeah, you got pinged too. Per your expression of sentiment above, I will follow through on my offer to facilitate government working meeting today at 3 p.m. Pacific time. First task is offering a redrafted charter for the reformulation of the governance committee by the Arching board. Steps include finalizing the Arching draft and nominating committee. Finalizing the Arching charter draft and nominating members for a relaunch of the committee. To that end, please review and comment on this proposed agenda for today's meeting. Okay, we should probably do that. Current, see above per governance working group session starting today at 3 p.m. And then he references a bunch of people here that he wanted to notify about the meeting. And that's
Do we want to do that together, or do we want to do it on our own?
So that's in just under an hour. All right.
That was very helpful, Jim. I didn't quite understand how things worked. I still got to go back through there and think about a few things, and I may have a few more questions for you, but yeah, it makes more sense now.
Yeah, and even with a simple fix like this, it's rare that we get it to work the first time. So you're very exactly.
I'm very afraid of that VI editor, so I tried not to do anything that got it lost, because I've been lost to that thing so many times.
Right. Well, you learned about the insert and the CW today, right?
Yes.
And
very good.
That will help you. You can use it to delete character. Some people put it in insert mode, and they just do everything with the backspace, delete key, and stuff, and that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But if you do commands and you stay out of insert mode, you're actually better off.
Okay.
Then you sort of know that you're only in insert mode when you're typing text in. All right. And any other time you can type a command character and it'll work. Otherwise, it can be pretty confusing.
Now, let me ask you this. We've changed the contents of server.js.
Right. Okay. So, you can quit out of the editor. So you're gonna hit Control C to stop the log, and then you hit Enter. You get back into the document, and then you're going to do a :Q to quit. And I'll share my screen here, I think.
Okay, I did. I'm now back at the Archain robot channel command shell.
All right. Oh, this is very small. I don't know why that is. Settings. Change settings right there. Appearance. Change. 18. That should be big enough. Apply. There you go. You can see it now. Okay, so here I was looking at our matter bridge. We had two of them running. It was doubling up all the things. I had to kill one of them.
Oh, that's right. We should have killed it before we ran it, right?
I don't know how it happened. I thought we did it. I didn't think it was running. I ran two of them, but apparently
that would be confusing to figure out what was happening.
All the messages between Discord and Mattermost, etc. Okay, so dot gets me out of the Matter Bridge directory, and then I can go into the rho-bot directory, and then I'm going to do a git status. Okay, and we see how we have an untracked file, x.rho. I use that name a lot. I probably should ignore that, but I'll just remove it for now. I don't want to commit that to GitHub. So we'll remove x.rho. And then we have changes in community.rho and global.h. Now global.h has all the macros in it. And it probably has a lot of duplicates in it. So there's a script in here, undo, which takes out all the duplicates from the global.h. See, there was a lot of them.
Wow.
That's because every time it changes your locker,
Oh, okay, right.
anytime you make a mistake, you type in the definition again, it makes a duplicate. The last one is always the one that gets used. And that's good to have them in there, actually. But sometimes you screw something up, you want to manually go in to go back to a previous version of the macro. Okay, so now we're okay. We're going to, these three things we do want to commit. We want to commit the latest macros, the latest version of community.rho, and the latest version of server.js. So I do a git push. Okay, and you have to log in to GitHub here, and you have to be a contributor in the repository where we have this. And originally I pulled this out of, I think, the community server, the community GitHub, ArchChain community GitHub, but I couldn't write it there, so I had to use my own. And then there's a process where we do a pull request to the other server, and then it gets combined. But we're not going to do that today. We'll do that someday when we have a GitHub expert on hand. And my password. Everything's up to date. Oh, well, of course. I haven't committed any of these things yet. I have to do a git commit, and I can put a message here. Okay, I have to do.
You need to add it, wouldn't you?
I need to do a git add.
Yeah.
And I need to tell it what to add. Dot is the current directory, everything. And then now if I do a git status, now I get changes to be committed in green. Here I had them in red. Changes not staged for commit. Now they're staged for commit in green. So now I can do a git commit -m and I'll just say community.row and server log updates. I don't really, that's whatever. Okay, they're committed. And now I can do a push. Jim Scarver. Password.
Need a second.
Okay,
Done.
so we've successfully brought the repository up to date with the work we've done. And the only thing you might want to see is the git remote -v. Is that right? And I don't know what would happen if we took off the -v. It would just show us the gem origin. So the -v is verbose, and this shows where we fetch from, where we push to, and the reason there's a gem and an origin is because the origin was originally different, and I added gem as a secondary thing. So I would need to do git push gem to do it there. But I took that out because rho-bot could be more than one repository. So you can do a remote add of your own version of it and push things there if you're not a collaborator in my repository. But probably easier to make you a collaborator in my repository so that you can use your own GitHub account to push results back.
Okay, let me get a little more comfortable before we go through that. I learned a lot today, though.
Good. Glad. So, any other questions, comments, whatever? Anybody?
No, I'm probably in the same as Gary. Just learned a bit. It is quite
I'm not hearing you too well, Audie.
I'm just the same as Gary. We've basically learned a bit. It is quite somewhat complex code though.
The rho-bot code.
Yeah. Well, it's just lots of random kind of things to make it work.
So going through this was worthwhile for you?
Yeah, Yeah, definitely.
Good, good. I'm glad. All right, guys. Have a good one. I guess I'll see you at the governance, Gary. Maybe.
Yes. Yes.
Later. Bye-bye.
Hi guys.
Bye, Audie.